Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. We're just doing a little power hammer work this morning. Nothing crazy. Last video I made, I heard from a lot of shops. I got a lot of support from people. I appreciate that. Everybody that watched my last video with that terrible customer, I just want to say thank you for watching, subscribing, and enjoying the channel. All the guys that didn't like it, well, you know, just find another channel. Today, I didn't realize a bunch of guys that used to have shops or still have shops were watching my channel. So today, I want to ask all you guys how you got started. If there was a certain person in your life that turned you down a path of automotive restoration, any kind of blue-collar trade, you know, electrician, plumber, carpenter, could be anything at all. Just trying to get to all you guys out there and see what got you started. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, how I got started. But that's going to be the basics of this video. So if you like that kind of stuff, stick around. If not, appreciate you hanging out for just a little bit. And more videos coming soon. But let's get set up. We'll talk about this type of video, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, guys. You guys know I've been in the Willys and Jeep world since forever. Since I was about 14 years old, I've been playing around with them. I opened up my first shop. I think it was 1993. We're going back a little bit. I opened up my first shop. And I was doing all kinds of jobs. I had a bunch of guys I knew that were helping me out. We were doing a lot of engine work and repair work, general repair work. But I really wanted to get into the sheet metal side of things. And at that particular time, you couldn't just go out and buy a power hammer. I didn't have the money, and I could never find one. So I built that one. You guys in the sheet metal world, you know Fay Butler. He's up in Massachusetts. I went there, I took his class, and he let me measure and dimension his original Yoder machines. That's where I got the patterns for my machine. If you watch some of my older videos, you see that I built that machine. And then, that machine has about 12,000 pounds of steel in it. And about that time, you guys that follow me, you remember Mark. We did that interview with my buddy Mark. He's up in Maine now. And he helped me get my first TIG welder. It was a big Miller Synchrowave 350. Came out of Pratt & Whitney. We got Pratt & Whitney, United Technologies here in Connecticut. I got my first TIG welder. Mark helped me get that. Got me going on learning how to TIG weld. Again, this is back in the 90s. Anyway, I got the hammer built, and I got a video on that. You could go back and look through my videos. I got some pictures of the hammer being built. But I started to get more and more into sheet metal. And some guys are willing to share stuff with you. Some guys are not willing. But I'm leaving that open to you guys now. Does anybody have any stories? Is there any single person that got you started? This is what I'm wondering. I'm wondering how most shops got started before YouTube, before Facebook, before all that social media, stuff like that. Guys like us that got started by just doing things over and over again. Something doesn't work out on a power hammer, you try something else. And if that doesn't work, you keep trying, you stick with it. If your first welds don't look good, you just sit there for days or weeks and months if you need to perfect what you're doing. I know there's guys out there, and I know a lot of guys on the last video commented how they're older, they're retired, they shut their shop down, the world is, going to hell, customers suck, blah, blah, blah. But you had to get started somewhere. There's been a lot of people in my life that have, in the trades, that have pointed me a certain way, and I'm here because of it. So, if you have something to share, put it down in the comments. You know, I read all the comments. I don't always have time to respond to every single one, especially when there's thousands of them. But put it down in the comments. Let me know if there's still guys like us out there that are you know, still doing this. We're in the trenches. We're making stuff happen. If that's one of you, you know, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how you got started. The guys into sheet metal work, you know, that'd be great to hear from you. Guys doing engine work, again, that'd be great to hear from you. Just know what you're going through and how you got started. It's just, you know, just the good YouTube guys, you know, you're like a family to me. So it's good to hear from you. It's good to know how you got started. It'd be nice to know that I'm not alone out here. So we're going to take a walk around. I'm going to bring you some project updates. Again, if you've been following me, you know that I lost my phone. I lost a lot of footage. I was making some shorts and stuff, and I lost a lot of footage. But I'm just going to go show you a couple things, so stick around. Okay, guys, I lost all the footage of this. This is an original Willys tailgate. I'm doing it for that CJ3B. I cut just below this bead here and made a new section for the bottom. There used to be a bunch of different guys making tailgate repair panels. I don't know if they still do or not. I just make them myself. And that's what it is. This seam here is where junk gets down in there and it rusts these real bad. So I put a little bit of seam sealer there. It's not on there yet, but good idea to seam seal that. And that's what a finished gate will look like with the bottom repaired. I hope you're seeing that okay. So that tailgate just needs a little bit of dent and ding repair, but we're getting there. Okay, guys, we're over here on the 3B welder Jeep. I got my floor here lifted up out of the way. I just got it tied up there so it doesn't fall and crush me. I was building the fuel tank on this when my phone got messed up. There may be some pictures still in the phone. I'll try and get those on this video. But here is the finished tank. It's sitting in the back here. And I finally have it, you know, kind of bolted. It's hanging by itself. Sending unit right here. This is the fuel pickup. This is the fuel return. This is my filler neck. I've got some bracing in. If we can get Maria to zoom in on some of this right here, you can see that I like to TIG weld everything in. And like I say, eventually, you know, some of you good guys there that want to do better jobs, you'll get rid of that MIG welder. You'll start TIG welding, and you'll decide you're more of a welder than a grinder. Anyway, these are in. The tank is in. This is a big tank. It's I got to still do some calculations. I think it's about 34 gallons for diesel fuel, and this is the kind of stuff, guys. You can't just go out anywhere and say, hey, could you build me a tank? There's not a lot of guys, at least in my area, that are even doing this kind of stuff anymore. This is what I'm talking about. Let's hear from the guys that are building vehicles from the ground up. They're not going to a catalog and buying all their parts. They're creating stuff. They're building stuff. They're actual visionaries. They're seeing it in their mind and they're building it. Those are the guys that I want to hear from. Show me your projects. Tell me your stories. Tell me how you got started. Tell me what you're doing. When you get good at your trade, you could build tanks like this. And chassis. You know, we're building a whole chassis for this. I mean, if you look at this project, how many people would take on a body build like this? There's a huge amount of custom fabrication that has to be done to make this look right. It's an extended vehicle. It's heavier duty. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on with this vehicle. And sometimes I feel like I'm out there alone doing this stuff. But I know there's other guys out there. I know there's good shops out there. If you get a chance to watch some of my videos, I'd appreciate it. Just let me know how you got going. Okay, guys, enough with the sheet metal work. You know I love doing sheet metal work. But one thing I really enjoy as well is rebuilding engines. This is a Jeep 258 6-cylinder. You saw me boring this on the SIP machine. I had to sleeve one cylinder, and this is getting ready to be honed. I did finish, if you come over here, I did finish a crankshaft for that. I have a 4 counterweight crank going in there. This is ground perfect. And again, what I'm seeing now, and again I'm referencing my last video, with social media, with YouTube, with AI and this and that, there's so many people telling me how to build engines now. It's amazing. So guys with shops, you putting up with the same kind of crap I am? Everybody telling me the same thing. The cylinder head for that motor is on the seat and guide machine right there. We're putting Chevy valves in there. We're putting new seats in there, intake and exhaust. We're putting guides, and we're porting it. You know, that's going to be a very good flowing head. You saw me do that on another engine. This same thing's happening on this engine. So we've got basically the seat and guide machine there. We've got the Blockmaster, which this crank is sitting on, and we can do perfect decking, heads, blocks, whatever. There's a lot of guys out there saying these old machines don't work as good, but we can get just as good a finish as you can on your machines. The crank machine is sitting right here to my left. And if we come down here, we've got the real workhorse of the shop now. You guys have seen this a bunch of times. This is the SIP. This does all my boring now. This is the most precise machine. You guys might have a Rottler boring machine or something like that, and think that, you know, you spent $300,000 on it and it's great. But this SIP, this SIP is the most accurate jig bore ever made. This spindle right here, SIP guaranteed. If you held this machine at 68 degrees, that'll hold millionths. So anyway, all my boring is done on this machine. And this is a 40,000 pound machine. It's much more rigid than any of the new stuff out there. The bores come out perfect. This is a real good machine. It does more than I thought it was going to do. I'm super happy with it. The engines come out good. And I still, to this day, you know, get the YouTube certified mechanics that tell me this is not a good way to bore an engine, or the crank machine is not new enough to be accurate, or my honing tank isn't a modern CNC one that's talking to me on a screen. I can hold tenths on that just like you can on a modern machine. So anyway, guys, I know you're out there. You're the guys before all the people that think they know everything came alive, and I know you're out there doing it. And I'm just putting this out there, looking to hear from other guys like that. Okay, guys, appreciate everybody watching. Just a quick walk around today. Just putting some feelers out and seeing how other guys got started. You know, I'm always curious about stuff like that. And tomorrow we'll be getting back to actually doing stuff. We've got the scrambler body in the paint room there. I gotta do some welding and grinding on that. I'm getting closer to firing up the scrambler engine. So there's things happening. If there's anything you guys would like to see, you know, just shoot a comment below. Just let me know the kind of stuff you enjoy seeing, and I could bring that to you. But subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, put a comment below. You know, I appreciate that from all you guys. It's helpful, and it keeps me out there and keeps YouTube promoting my videos. So, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.